Hey there, Drawyah here, and welcome back to Microsoft Flight Simulator. Today we have ourselves a pair of premieres, which means once again we are flying in the real world, and as it stands, these will be the last flights to take in 2021, where I now plan to kind of relax a little, save a bit of money, just rest myself, because between August and October this year, I've been travelling up and down the country, every extremity. It's been an absolutely fantastic adventure, but I'm at a point now where, before I burn myself out of these trips, I'm just going to relax a little and head up to somewhere that I've never been to before and have always wanted to go to. So flying between London Heathrow and Edinburgh this morning, flying British Airways, and then tonight at about 7 PM, and then return back from Edinburgh to London Stansted with EasyJet, my first Stansted flight this year. So rather excited for this. It's only a day trip to Scotland, up to Edinburgh again, so we'll jump the cockpit, set the aircraft up, and prepare ourselves for our flights today. And also, as it stands, the aircraft scheduled to be an A320 Neo British Airways, Golf Tango Tango November Romeo at the moment. That could change, and at the moment we are flying Tango November Delta in sim, but we're most likely going to fly a Neo today, and likely going to be a November Romeo for this trip. Right, jump in the cockpit, let's get going. First things first, we need to activate the battery and external power. Set the 3 ADIs to nav. We are going to arm the emergency lights, activate stick crew oxygen, nav lights on, strobes automatic, no smoking on, seatbelt stays off for now until we get the aircraft fueled up. Jump to the tablet and get that loading, and jump down to the FMS and start the programming. So we are flying today from Echo Golf Lima Lima to Echo Golf Papa Hotel. Our flight number today is BA1438. We'll line the IRS, that'll take a couple of minutes. And jump over to the tablet. We'll now pull our flight info from SimBrief. Give it a second. There we go. Right, go to the flight plan. Look at our cost index, which is 6, and our cruising altitude flight level 360. So it's 6 and 360. Now, before we go on to the weight setup and as well as what fuel, we'll now jump over to the MCD menu, ATSU and AOC. We'll do a weather request, and also we will go to the weight and balance page. We'll skip the fueling down the tablet, but we will request our passenger weight and payload. So we'll pull that from SimBrief. That's looking good. Total passenger seat, 174 people on board, so we'll go with that. And we'll start boarding. Cool. We'll now do the same on PACX as well, so much that's all kind of going at the same time. So we're going to start a flight. If I look at the clock, it's currently about 5 minutes past, so we'll time ourselves around that. As I say, scheduled departure time is 20 past 9, so we'll set ourselves for about 14-15 minutes of actual aircraft setup. Heathrow to Edinburgh, 1438, 36,000, 55 minutes on the clock. Touch times in about 14 minutes. Flying an A320 Neo with 174 people on board. Is it 174? The answer was yes, 174. We have got Wi-Fi, no entertainment, no boarding music, I've got safety briefing. That'll be British Airways. We get snacks, we don't get meal service. And let's start boarding. If we go back to the flight plan, you can see that we have a block fuel of 1807, so we're out to 4810. So in reality, aircraft fueling goes up in numbers of 10 as opposed to exactly going to be 07. And one thing that I got to actually in comments from an actual refuel is aircraft is that you round your numbers up, you won't go exact, so that's too much of a hassle. So 1810 goes into the aircraft. Let's take 3 minutes to reload, or refuel even. So go back to initialization, which before we do that to print out the weather sheet, so I'm going to have to return to this, received, meter, print. Right, initialization, next page. Pure zero fuel weight and sense of gravity. And my block fuel of 4.8. 4.80, so it can be 4.8. So now jump to the flight plan, and let's plug our routing in, starting with Umlauts. So we're going to plug in that. From Umlauts we fly the Tango 418 to Welland. From there we fly the Tango 420 to TNT. Uniform November 57 to Pol. Then it's Uniform November 601 to InPip. And that is in the flight plan. So looking at runway 27 right departure on the flight plan, I'm at 1 Fox departure, and it's runway 24 for arrival on the InPip 1 Echo. That can change. We'll listen to the ATIS as well, and also make sure that's all been set up. Increase the brightness of that, increase the brightness of our displays. Don't go all the way, about 2/3 should be enough for our systems today. There you go, plenty of time, and nice and relaxed setup for this morning. We've got a Copilot on that as well, so we'll be using Copilot to set up our altitudes, flight directors on and on. Yeah, at this point, we'll listen to the ATIS, and then we'll commit. We'll tune to tower, and we'll commit our clearance to Edinburgh. So let's tune in to the ATIS frequency. Let's have a listen.
Winds 200 at 10 knots. Visibility 10 kilometers. Altimeter 1010. Temperature 17 degrees Celsius. Broken layer at 1000 feet. 2.15 degrees Celsius. Winds 20.
Okay, so some relatively low cloud today, but apart from that, should be relatively clear once we're above the cloud layer of 1500, and that's its information delta we'll be speaking to tower with. So we're now tuned to the frequency, which is going to be 118705. And we are at stand, if I go to the ground charts, stand 545. Hello there, Heathrow. This is shuttle 8 kilo type A320 Neo, stand 545 with information delta, requesting IFR copy to Edinburgh. Give them a few seconds to respond. Heathrow Tower, shuttle 8 kilo. Okay, right, well they've gone AFK, that's slightly annoying. We'll consider this as setup then. So, as it stands, the departure runway set on the ATIS is showing us runway 27 left. So we're plugging 27 left on our departure, which is as we've scheduled. And it's the Umlats 1 Golf departure today. On the way out. We'll clear the user points from the flight plan. We've had to revert back to the dev version of the A320NX over the experimental version as recently as I had a little issue with the flight plan page, and it's untitled, something like that. So revert back to the dev version, which again, very, very good aircraft. Hopefully we'll get experimental again soon, but it's not like we're losing too much for this version. It still does 99% of the job. We're going to activate the fuel pumps now. Seatbelt sign on, and APU we will start. So, on the Unlap 1 Golf departure, which is going to be the start. In fact, probably on screen, can I? So you can see it on the Navigraph side of things. So, Unlap 1 departure, if you jump over to the Heathrow charts, I really like Navigraph, especially the in-sim integration. That's all looking very good indeed. Ah, there you go, Tower's just responded, cool. Heathrow Tower, shuttle 8 kilo at stand 545, crossing IFR copy to Edinburgh. We have information delta.
Shuttle 8 kilo, apologies about that. Cleared to Edinburgh via the Umlaut 1 Foxtrot departure, runway 27 left. Weather information delta is correct, QNH 1010. And please squawk 3245.
Shuttle 8 Kilo is cleared to destination Edinburgh via the Umlaut 1 Foxtrot departure, runway 27 left. QNH is 1010 with our squawk 3245.
Shuttle 8 Kilo, read that correct. Report when ready for push and start.
Alright, go from there. 3245. Set that to automatic, which should allow the aircraft to start transponding but not appear on the ATC, as how it works in real life. Set the TCAS to transpond and receive. Predict when to automatic. Also lock cockpit door. That then needs to be open. Guard departure set up, that's looking good. Runway 27 left is set. Set our quark 3245 and we have set our altimeter to 1010. According to the charts, if I go back to that again, sorry, we are looking at an initial departure, initial climb even. Sorry, looking at SID, sorry, wrong charts. I'm that one, Foxtrot 1 Golf. Initial climb of 6,000. Yeah, 6,000, transition 6,000, perfect. Set altitude 6,000.
6,000 feet.
Go to performance. Plug our transition to 6,000. And we'll now get the tool up. Start calculating our weights. Takeoff speed, so flying A320, runway length is, if I go that on the charts again. $3902. Elevation less than 1,000 feet. Wind component is currently a headwind of 10 knots. Temperature right now is reporting 17 degrees centigrade with QNH over 1010. Takeoff weight is going to be 68321. Flat swam for takeoff, no anti-ice, and runway condition is dry at the moment. If it starts raining, we change that, but so far runways can dry. Flex 58, 154, 154, 155. 58, 154, 154, 155. Flaps for takeoff is 1, and that's looking good. So, plugged in our performance, plugged in our flight plans, routing, departures all set. As far as I'm concerned, the FMS is now ready to go. Also, before I forget, just grab the weather printout sheet as well. So give it things to fade in, just like an old Polaroid that. Starts off blank, and it just fades into life. Yeah, that's all good to go. So, plus visibility, broken clouds 1000, actually slightly lower. Oh no, sorry. Broken 1000, overcast 1500, that's correct. QNH 1010, looking good. Put a little bit more brightness up on the displays there. APU is available. Activate APU bleed. Give a few seconds of power to the aircraft, and we'll now turn off the external power. At this point, we are now ready for push and starts. So we'll contact tower again and start thinking about our way out of Heathrow. Heathrow Tower, Shuttle 8 Kilo is ready for push and start.
Shuttle 8 Kilo, push and start is approved, face south.
Push start approved, facing south for Shuttle 8 Kilo. Alright, pop open, PushbackZoomer, and let's get out of it. Ground from flight deck. Request pushback.
Pushback request confirmed.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome aboard flight 1438.
Here you go, so the cabin crew now greets the passengers. Probably not myself actually while passengers boarding, but hey ho, it's only a small little message. Yeah, we'll probably speak to passengers and get ourselves up and climb anyway. Well, now it's time to connect. There we go. Ground from flight deck.
Good morning. Yes, everything is ready down here, so release the brakes.
Brakes released.
So let the ride begin.
Activates the startup. And now just waiting for clearance of the ground.
You may begin starting the engines, Captain.
Engine 2 start. Turn facing south.
We'll turn by 90 degrees and bring you on a southern course.
Again, this is an old safety briefing for British Airways from about 10 years ago now, but I do much prefer it to the modern day equivalents. I know, so that flower duet just feels right for BA. With engine 2 to stabilise, come available. Engine 1 starts. Stop, pushback. Stop, pushback. Okay, do it the manual way. Right, brakes set, tug disconnected, engine 1 starting. Test controls. So the co-pilot now checking all the flight surfaces for us. That's looking good. We'll monitor the engine start up as it goes. Flaps position 1.
Flaps to 1.
Right, flaps are down. So we'll just wait for the engine to start up now. As soon as it has, we'll then request our taxi intentions, shut off the APU, and get ourselves over to the runway. We'll return back to the engine page on the lower cam. Engine 1's available. You can hear the air conditioner in the background. Turn off the ignition. Kill the APU. Again, keeping it under beacon lights, which I need to remember to do in the future. Shuttle 8 Kilo is ready to taxi.
Shuttle 8 Kilo taxi to holding November Bravo 3, runway 27 left via Charlie and Alpha.
Taxi to holding points November Bravo 3, runway 27 left via Charlie and Alpha for Shuttle 8 Kilo. Let's grab the ground taxi charts for Heathrow now. So runway 27 left is over to the right hand side, November Bravo 3. Nice and simple, we'll taxi straight. Make a left at the end, so that's fine. Right. Increase a little bit of throttle. Activate the taxi lights. There's no need for backlighting, while the cockpit is a little bit on the dim side at the moment. The sun is very much rising, and it should be a brighter sky by the time we get ourselves airborne.
Heathrow Tower, good evening. Speaker 241, requesting IVAO clearance to parachute the car.
Speaker 241, Heathrow Tower, good evening. Cleared to Charles de Gaulle via the
British Airways somewhere at the airport.
departure.
That aircraft on its way out to Paris. Paris Charles de Gaulle.
1010 and to squawk 1163.
Speaker 241, clear to Paris Charles de Gaulle, expect runway 27 left. QNH 1010, squawk 1163. Speaker 241.
We'll taxi on to Alpha, so mid left hand to Alpha, and as we're on that taxiway, we'll go through our pre-check with checks. We'll do the brakes, we'll do the spoilers, we'll do the cabin, we'll do it all on the main run to the runway. And again, we've only about 55 minutes of flight time today. It's not a long trip this. Should be landing easily within the next hour or so. That's presuming also we get ourselves a nice straight approach. Runway 24 Edinburgh, I believe it's 24, is it? Yes. Yes, runway 24 Edinburgh. Nice and easy runway to land in. It's approaching from the east, so it'll be approaching from the water. Therefore, we should get some pretty good visuals on the way in as well. Right, set the brakes to max. Cabin check.
Flight attendants, please prepare for takeoff.
Spoilers armed. And takeoff config test. And with that, our pre-takeoff checks are now complete. All we're doing now is taxiing, not quite to the very end of the stretch. But again, if we go back to the Navigraph charts, go back to taxi, scroll to the bottom where we go to taxiing. We are now on Alpha, which is this taxiway here. November Bravo 3 is just here, the third taxiway right at the end of the, this is the third holding point, sorry, at the end of the stretch. So once you get part November 4 west and east, essentially here's the former runway at Heathrow, the last crosswind when that closed about probably about 10 years ago now actually. Last crosswind runway that didn't see much traffic in so many years of usage. Make a right, line up, and take off. It's a good tool Navigraph. Maybe not the cheapest in the world, but it's very handy when you do use it in your flights. Yeah, it can't have been that long ago the cross runway closed, because it featured in FSX as an active runway. And FSX released about 15 years ago, what, 3-4 days ago now, so happy 15 years FSX. Yeah, so it mustn't have been that long ago for the cross runway to close. Can't remember the numbers, I must admit. I think it was like runway, I want to say 23... 2313, won't it? Yes, because both heads have to add up to 36. So runway 13, runway 23, but that's probably incorrect when they close the runway. Might have been 1224. I'd have to go find some old charts from 20 years ago just to clarify those numbers. Right, well, nearly there. It's that entry point right there. What we're going to hold short at. Here we go. Let's make a right hand turn. And hold shorts right at the markers. Perfect.
Heathrow, Golf Juliet Echo Charlie Romeo with you with Delta on 10-mile final for
Okay, aircraft's now it's approaching.
7 left.
We'll give it a few seconds. Runway 27 left, they're approaching.
Charlie Romeo, Roger,
Should be good to go.
Actually, did you say, apologies, landing runway 27 right.
Someone's going to have to do a visual crossover. Heathrow Tower, shuttle 8 kilo, holding November 3, runway 27 left. Ready to depart.
Shuttle 8 kilo, roger, just hold position for the time being. Break, Golf, Charlie, Romeo, do you think you can re-establish yourself on 227 right instead?
Sure, I can switch over to 27 right.
Roger, thank you, and just contact me when established from a 27 left. Break, Shuttle 8 Golf, winds 200 at 10 knots from a 27 left, clear for takeoff.
I presume that was for Shuttle 8 kilo. Clear for takeoff, runway 27 left. Right. And that's active.
Speedbird 241, ready for push and
Speedbird 241.
Transponder active.
Approved, face south.
And let's get going. Whoops. That's not what I said. Cancel that. Try again. Cabin crew, seats for departure, please.
Speedbird 241, push and start facing south.
And look at the fuel truck and the transit van in front of us. They're trying to sneak onto the runway. Hopefully, they'll hold position.
Golf Juliet Echo Charlie Romeo.
Move off to the left.
27 right.
Golf, Charlie Romeo, roger, winds 200 at 10 knots from a 27 right, clear to land.
Clear to land at 27 right. Golf Juliet Echo Charlie Romeo.
Right. We're good to go. Throttle to 40. Engines 1-2 stable. Throttle move to flex. So 154 rotate today. $80 knots. Hundreds. 20. V1 rotates. Positive rates, gear up. Ah, there you go, the aircraft, that's on the final. Just touching down. Some minor crosswinds we're fighting here. Nothing too major. Just gotta keep the aircraft steady. Start the right hand turn now. Start ourselves on the UMLAT's departure. Throttle set to climb position. Autopilot on.
That's affirmative.
Reset ground spoilers.
Shuttle 8 kilo, unfortunately no further ATC available. Monitor Unicom 122.8, enjoy flight, goodbye.
Monitor Unicom 122.8 for Shuttle 8 kilo, thank you very much. Right.
Bye-bye.
Tune to Unicom now. So back to flight plan page. And flaps raise. Set altitude, flights level 360.
Flight level 360.
When I get the co-pilots to set the altitude for us to our cruising altitude, we'll continue to climb, passing through 4,000 feet. Yeah, as you can see, so relatively low cloud cover, 1,000 to 1,500, but it's not the thickest cloud ever. We should see the roof of that. There you go, pretty much straight away. Some scattered clouds above that, but nothing that caused any worry for us. For the most part, clear skies all the way to Edinburgh. And as for the arrival weather, at least from departure, it's looking again +10 visibility, rain detected, so it could be a wet arrival. Well, it's going to be a wet arrival if the rain's detected. A few clouds 700, so okay, some low visibility to deal with on the way in. Fingers crossed, today, the actual flying will be a little bit nicer, but time will tell. We'll see how it sits with the flights in later. I must say though, that has been mighty spectacular to watch today. Passed through 6,000, so it now sets the altimeter to standard. And yeah, okay, fair enough. It's not about some good weather ahead. I'm now looking at very thick grey storm clouds, so maybe not as as great as I was looking at earlier. Could be worse. It could always be worse. And once again, now back in my favourite pastime hobby, I've taken screenshots of flight sim and then sticking them on Volanta.
Gentlemen, we have now passed 10,000 feet. We now turn on your larger portable electronic devices. This is also a reminder
Not passing 10,000 just yet,
not functioning.
cabin crew. So another couple hundred feet left to go.
Onboard Wi-Fi. You will be required to do a small switch to access.
I mean, if you like storm clouds, then this one's for you, I guess. 10,000 feet, landing lights come off and retracted. We'll leave the sign on a little bit longer, I think. I don't trust these clouds to not cause any turbulence for us when we pass through them, so we'll leave them on for a little longer. As soon as we're clear of the clouds and clear of the storms, then I'll think about switching it all off again. It's just gotten so dark and gloomy all of a sudden. Gosh. Yep, so lights now see them flashing. But hey, I think that's just part of the marvel of the old Airbus. 320 is a very advanced aircraft, and overall its limitations much stronger than a lot of its common types. I mean, 737, of course, decent little aircrafts, but certainly more limited into what you can fly into, especially in regards to storms and turbulence. Turn down the brightness a tad bit, so they're not going to glare up too much for us. I must admit, we're not looking too bumpy at the moment, not looking too uncomfortable. Again, we're not going to tell Supersign just yet, because that could very much change when we hit the upper layer of these clouds. Go through a bit of a break now. But we'll certainly keep at it for the rest of this climb out. It's passing now through 15,000 feet very shortly. Flight level 1 at 50. About 80% satisfaction at the moment for passengers. Not the highest in the world, so we are slightly in departure, so again, we're going to lose 2 points on that. But for the most part, as long as we get our aircraft down in a timely manner at Edinburgh, we should be alright time-wise. I must check at some point what PACX is looking at in terms of the expected arrival, whether it's based on the... well, it's based on the flying time, plus your time on the ground. But how does that then compare to the actual airline's time? So I presume when airlines tell you that a flight's going to be an hour and 10 minutes, for example, that's based on the block time rather than the actual flight time. So maybe that's something that PACX could adjust. Change it from flights to block time, or at least find a way to calculate time between ground and air. Or maybe that's what the default numbers are. So for example, it told me that like the ground time for 38 minutes and a flight time for 55. Is that splitting it automatically? And it's something I'm not currently aware of. I mean, let's try. I like PACX. It's a very good add-on and something that I've used a lot now. My flight sim flights, every flight virtually since it became compatible with Microsoft Flights, I must admit. Yeah, so potentially that's just me not getting the number balance right, but for the most part we should be alright now. Just past 18,000, still got a little while to go till we hit cruise, but it should be more than simple from this point on. I can see Glasgow's house online, but not Edinburgh. Edinburgh's currently quiet. I can imagine that we may get control to jump onto Edinburgh later. You can see there's 2 aircraft inbound to Glasgow. Actually, it's quite busy at Glasgow this night. There's no event on, it's just a busy destination. Paris Charles de Gaulle, a couple of arrivals from Brest in France, very nice. Got 2 departures out to Amsterdam. There's an arrival in from Heathrow. Interesting. So the aircraft that just arrived at Heathrow, that was a Q400-8. I don't know why they chose a private tailcode. It's a Flyby. So Golf, Juliet Echo, Romeo, Charlie Romeo, the aircraft just landed, runway 27 right after crossing over 27 left. It's another Flyby aircraft landing at Heathrow, potentially then just flying an old heritage run. And Heathrow side also got Scandinavian departure. You got the Heathrow, the aircraft departed to Paris. They're now airborne, have just taken off, and then the Q400's taxiing to gates. Is that anti-ice need to activate? It's that freezing window. Right, activates those. Probe heats and the window heats. Ah, connects to the probes, that's fine then. I've actually made up my ICI, so it may have just been a cloud. Okay, well, we're above the cloud layer now, so we'll switch off the CVAT sign, we'll turn off the engine and wing ice, we'll leave the probe. Yeah, that's just cloud playing up, glaring the windshield. Not ice, we're not freezing over, don't you worry guys. Right, so we've turned off the CVAT sign now, we'll let passengers roam around the cabin. And as we continue our climb out, we'll probably now have a look at the itinerary. We've not yet looked at the passenger list. We don't know yet who's on board. So now is our opportunity to do so. Pretty standard cabin, I can imagine. Yeah, any names recognised? This is what we have a look at. As it stands, the answer is no. Nope, pretty standard cabin so far. I'm sure someone in chat may know someone shout it out. Again, it's only a premiere I'm afraid, so I'll be able to respond to you in real time. But yeah, it's a pretty standard cabin. I don't... Mina, capital A, Mina, very good. Yeah, nobody on board today. Michael Murray. There's a couple of Murrays on board. So you've got Michael Murray, Janessa Murray. I saw a Phil Murray. There you go, Phil Murray. All part of the same family, I can guess. Rose Ross. Nope, nobody today. Nobody today that I recognise. Tons of cabin as well. It's a mostly full aircraft, few seats dotted around. Empty. Nothing particularly going on. As you can see, our climb out. We will also start thinking about our approach actually, because it's only a short little flight today. As soon as we hit cruising altitude, we'll start calculating our descent profile into Edinburgh. Even at this point on, we've only got about 228 miles to go, top percent about 100 miles, so we're already a third or so into this flight in terms of our flight stages, a quarter or so in terms of distance actually already. So again, a very short flight this. One that means we'll be a little more proactive in regards to making our descent is calculated and we start approaching the right time. Not quite as short as the flight we did from Heathrow to Tees Valley a little while ago. Durham, Tees Valley, York, whatever you want to call it these days. An airport that actually has really struggled since we flew there. Because I went it's my second flight of the year, maybe third flight. When I went to the York National Rail Museum, I went via Durham, and since then there's been a few promises. Like for example, Ryanair were aiming to open the base up at Tees Valley, as were EasyJet. EasyJet never did in the end, and Ryanair instead chose Newcastle, which is only about 50 miles away, a much bigger airport with better, stronger facilities, and a lot more financial backing as well. So as a result, Durham Tees, as an airport, has really struggled and only gets the odd service commercially from Loganair. I believe there's also like I think there's a weekly KLM flight. They say it used to be, I'm not sure if it's still operational, but Loganair, certainly the biggest operator with flights between London and I think it's Glasgow or Manchester. They operate out of Tees Valley. But Loganair are quite a fun one because they're very much a Scottish national airline, and they do a lot of public service routes for the Scottish Government, Transport Scotland. So for example, when I flew to Stornoway and when I flew to Barra, both those flights are subsidised by the Scottish Government because they're public service routes as opposed to commercial flying routes. But what Loganair do is they try to spread out their route map a little bit around the entire UK, and their, for example, London to Durham route is very much, I think that's more of an economical flight as opposed to a public service route. I could be wrong with that, but I'm fairly sure that that trip, if it is subsidised, isn't so heavily subsidised as some of their smaller routes up to North Scotland. But hey, I mean, I've flown Twin Otters this year, I've flown Dorniers, I've flown old Saabs, Islanders, you name it. I've had a very good year of flying so far. I'm maybe gonna, I don't know, the only real aircraft I've got left, well, the only two aircraft I've really got left flight is the Embraer 135. And I've done the 145, which is virtually the same thing, but 135, and also the Jetstream 41. The Jetstream 41 is an aircraft operated by Eastern Airways, which is not a public service carrier in the UK. Their tickets are not the cheapest, they're one of the more expensive airlines in the UK, and they operate a fleet of ATRs and Jetstream 41s. So if I can get myself an opportunity to fly on one of those, then I may consider doing another flight this year. If I try to get a flight out with both, then that'd be fantastic. It just cost me an arm and leg to do so. But so I've had a really good year of flying this year, really good year of travel. I've been to Extremis, I've been to Stornoway, I've been to the Shetlands, I've been to Inverness, I've been to Aberdeen, I've been to Belfast, I've been to Penzance, I've been to the Isle of Scilly, I've been to the Channel Islands, Guernsey and Alderney. I've never been to Lowestoft, and if I recall correctly, is it Lowestoft? No, it's yeah, it's Lowestoft. Lowestoft is the most easterly point of the UK. Somewhere I've genuinely never been before. I might just have to do a day trip to Lowestoft so I can say going to the Far East. Also, I've never been to Wales. I don't know why I've never been there, but I've never been to Wales. So I will likely, I don't know, day trip to Cardiff, and then use the South and North Scottish railways, just kind of travel on the coast of that. Probably a 2-3 day trip, kind of go non-stop on the trains. I work on rail, so I should be able to use that knowledge to my benefit in regards to getting all the timings right. But that for me is very much the end goal for this year. Get Wales done. That'd be not tricky, but a bit of planning required for it. If I can get myself up to Bangor and cross over to the island just kind of off of well, as well, pretty good. I'll have to go back. I'll have to go to Langfair. Hang on, let me get a spelling out for it. Right, I'm going to butcher this entirely. Right. Lanfair Pwylgil Gigiol Geri Chwyn the Drobi Vilanti Cilio Gogogoch, I think. Have to visit there, longest place name in the UK. Take a photo about the train station sign because that's what you do as a tourist, and get that one ticked off. There's a few trips I need to make. Not by flying or by train. Unfortunately, working shift patterns as well and all that, I'll be able to do so kind of away from the weekends and just away from weekends and at times away from streams. So that's planning for the next couple of weeks. In fact, that's actually not too far from Bangor. Look at a map, it's just next door. That's a few things for me to plan in the next couple of weeks. Should be exciting, but for the most part, my big trip's done, my flying is all done. Time for me to start focusing a little less from real airplanes and more for the virtual airplanes, a bit more streaming. So I must admit, my streaming pattern has completely been shot, which I can only apologise for. But I'm sorry, guys. When it comes to real world travel, for me is a necessity. The world's there for travelling. The world's there to see things, visit places anew. Yeah, just go places, do things that you don't normally ever go and do. Right, we are now just about to hit cruise altitude. Passing through 345. Another 1,500 feet left to climb before the aircraft levels off. Mind a bit of turbulence as well there, nothing too much for us to worry about. What I'm going to do is have a look at our arrival information now. So I presume based on the winds, which is going to be virtually the same, looking at 230 at 13 knots, so runway 24 will be the correct runway for landing. We'll plug that into the arrivals. Definitely on the ILS today. If it's 1000 meters visibility, we may... is it also landed on development mode? I don't think so, I must admit. Certain experimental, I can't remember if it's on dev mode or not. We'll see how bad it is. If we need to try that auto land, we'll definitely go for an auto land. So, ILS 24 via the NP1 Echo arrival. NP1 Echo, that's fine. No vires, please. Not going to overfly the airport, hopefully. Probably will force us to do so anyway. But we'll insert that and see how much of a disaster it is. The answer is... not bad at all, actually. Nope, that's much better than I was expecting. It's not really much of an approach in terms of establishments runway 24, so I may manually adjust that approach angle and all that around it. But in terms of the angle of the attack and all that, we're not overflying the airport, we're not doing any weird routing. That is pretty much exactly what I'm looking for. Margin is 168 miles to go, 167, so we're going to be nearing descent soon. We go over to the calculator, sync the altitude and sort out our intercept, which according to Navigraph, close the Heathrow charts, close that, switch over to the Edinburgh side, and look at the approach charts. Runway 24, ILS. We need to intercept at 3,000 feet. So 3,000 feet. Decision height will be... It'll certainly be Cat 1 approach, at the very least with visibility of 700 meters. Yeah, so it'll be 300 feet. 3,300 feet. 104 miles top of descent. Enter destination, that's fine. Chance of performance, and go to the barometer of 300. Pull the weather now, so looking at temperature 170 degrees centigrade. Winds are 23013. And the QNH outside right now is 996. That's all set. That's looking good. Transition altitude is going to be on the approach charts. There you go, 6,000 feet. And that's all good to go. 4 flaps landing. Looking at approach speed of 131 and landing speed of 126. So your V approach always 5 knots above your landing. That's good to go. 50 miles to go until we descend. Certainly looking on the cloud side today. Hopefully it won't cause too much havoc for our approach later on. Just to our left hand side, can't see it, but we have got Manchester over there, including approaching aircrafts. Is that a Widow? Whiskey Romeo Delta. That's a Widow. Okay, so Widow 6940 737. Making this final approach in now. It's part of the World Tour series, that makes sense. And yeah, we're heading northbound. Nearly there. Do another quick screenshot edit for Volanta. Well, I say edit, it's more just adjusting the crops and showing both my monitors at the same time. 140 miles to go. Say hello to the passengers, shall we? Hello ladies and gentlemen, a quick update from the flight deck. We're cruising altitude today at 36,000 feet and a couple minutes away from our top ascent and approach into Edinburgh. As it stands, our arrival time is set to be in around 30 minutes, so we are had behind schedule, but we'll try to catch things up as well as get a speedy approach into runway 24 today. Temperature at Edinburgh right now is reporting to be at about 17 degrees centigrade and currently raining, so if that changes, we'll give you an update on the way down, but make sure you got your umbrellas with you as we start our approach. Shortly we'll get our service gates, we will connect JetBridge to the aircraft, and now you guys disembark swiftly through the front and potentially raid the aircraft as well, where we'll get yourself... Okay, fair enough. So get yourself unloaded and away very shortly, but it cuts off sometimes. We get a message across the passengers. Cool, so that's all good to go, that's all good to go. At this point, really, all I've got to do is just sit back and wait for the rest of the flight now. And again, that's one of the things I like about PACX. The fact that you can kind of talk to your passengers, engage with them, create a bit of a two-way communication between yourselves and them. Yes, okay, they're virtual, their fate, they don't exist, but it's just... It's a realism mod that exists to add a bit of realism to your sim. You talk to them, you communicate with them, you get a two-way thing going, and that's what sort of I like about it. That's what I really like about PACX. It's a very simple add-on, but it's very effective what it does. And even the top of the cloud layer below us right now, slightly creeping up to 360. Very slowly creeping up. It's going to be a bumpy old descent today. It's going to be a bumpy old descent. I can imagine the visuals will be stunning on the way down, especially as it the breaks in the clouds. It does mean you've got to be a little more alert with the approach. 10.19.241 course, that's fine. We'll get the VOR information for the airport, which is one... Where are you? Where are you? Where is the VOR beacon? CIS DME. This is mine. We got that set correctly. I must have gone blind. That or just don't see them. It's not the end of the world if we don't have the VOR point. It essentially just allows us to track ourselves mileage-wise from the airport. But if it's not there, then it's just not there. 341 Edinburgh. Did I? Ah, hang on. I'm probably wrong with that. Edinburgh 341, yeah. It's an ADF points. I don't normally come across those. So if it's over to the ADF now, it should give me, yep, Edinburgh 341. So ADF 1 is 341. Hopefully it'll connect Edinburgh as you get a bit closer to the airports. 108 miles. So 104% was it? Yes, 104. So we need to set our altitude now to 6,000 feet. And also announce on Unicom our approach intentions and landing. So you do that now. So runway 24. Star will be the input 1 Echo, inbound from the south. Now leaving top of descents. No, not connected yet. He definitely exists because the FMS found Edinburgh, but not yet set. Getting a bit of altitude there as well. Getting a bit turbulent now. Set altitude 6,000.
6,000 feet.
Let's descend, shall we? Depending how bumpy it gets, we may also switch on the seatbelt sign. The aircraft is starting to rock a tad bit now, is it? Yeah, seatbelt signs come on now. Not gonna risk it. We'll put some integrated lighting in now, just because it's basically quite dark on the way down. It's going to be a low visibility landing today. Classic Scotland, eh? Well, to be fair, for the mid-end of the month of October, it is about the time of the year now where the weather does start to drop a bit. So I'll get a bit worse. When I went to the Shetlands last week, actually I missed the Northern Lights by a day. So we went for a 4-day up in the Shetlands, took a boat in the morning, then returned in the evening. The night after we'd left, the the Northern Lights actually became visible out in Shetlands, which is a shame, because I would have loved to have seen them, but I'm sure one day a trip plans to somewhere in Norway will be able to get them quite visible for me. Increase brightness tad, zoom in slightly on the ND. Let's carry on our descents. All of a sudden, the cloud they were fearing very much about seems to have just disappeared. Okay, it's high altitude cloud, a relatively thick layer of it, but a nice window open for us. So switch off seatbelt sign again, just give passengers a chance to move around, turn off the probe heat since we don't require them anymore. And we'll leave the seatbelts off until about maybe 16,000-17,000. Switch them on again. Just when there's a fuel crossfeed going in place again, so there's slight fuel imbalance. Just confirm that on the fuel tanks. Looking at, yes, see the right hand engine is slightly, well, yeah, center left 1030, center right 1000, 270330. There's a slight imbalance both sides. But the aircraft is currently in the process of using crossfeed just to keep both numbers as close to centre as possible. Weight's shifted to the left, but it's going to be ever so slightly. You won't really feel it on the approach. Just check, we're now 79 miles from Edinburgh. 75 on the distance, so we're doing good for descent rates. We are on track to hit 6,000 for the glide. Sorry, 3,000. Was it 3,000 or 6,000 between steps now? I've actually forgotten. Back to the chart, sorry. Let's have a look. It's 3,000. I need to update that now, then, don't I? We'll do it ourselves. Passing through 25,000, flight level 250. There we are. Myself and the co-pilots. At least the instant versions of us. Yeah, with the co-pilot having a male voice on the VoiceAttack HS side of things, I thought we'd switch the co-pilot model around from the lady I was with to this guy here. Just because the masculine voice I didn't think matched the co-pilot's well. I know that HS has got a female voice for co-pilots, and so I'm going to see if I can get my hands on that. If I can, then actually it'd be quite interesting to kind of switch the pilot voice around every so often. Therefore we can change between the co-pilots again every so often as well. Just kind of get, I don't know, make things a bit more lively. And yeah, just, I don't know, mix and match, have a different co-pilot every so often just to keep things up to date. It'll be quite interesting. It'll be quite interesting, so hopefully something we can do. I mean, with the old FSX, the original Sims and all that, when you had a co-pilot model, that was very much built into the actual aircraft itself. You couldn't change the pilots themselves because they were hard modelled into the aircrafts. With Microsoft Flight Sim, give you a bit more freedom in regards to who flies what and where. I don't know, it's a small little detail, a small bit of customization, but quite cool at that. I believe there is the mod out there as well still that allows you to put the co-pilot model in the cockpit. I'm sure there's a way you could do it in the FMS, at least there was at some point in the past. Potentially that's since been removed, but it wouldn't be in this, wouldn't it? It'd be in the sim visual settings on the tablet, but that won't be linked. Wouldn't be on FlyPad, wouldn't be SEO. See audio sim options, no. Aircraft configuration, no. If it'd be anywhere, it'd be in this. So obviously they've removed the co-pilot, but I do believe the mod still exists out there to introduce a co-pilot model into cockpits. So it's not a complete loss. Maybe it's worth a download again, just to bring a bit more life to the cockpit again. Right, see what's turned on. Let's start focusing for the approach. So the aircraft will make a right-hand turn out of Edinburgh. It does give us an adjusted approach into Edinburgh. I'm probably going to slightly deviate from that, fly a bit more easterly from that course. Let's give us a heading. I'd be interested to know if it's a heading. The answer is nothing on there. It wouldn't be a constraint, that gives you altitudes. Would it be on the charts? If you go back out of there. No, not really, does it? It's not following any airways. So yeah, average should be freehand. Okay, not a problem. We'll just work out the direction ourselves. There's a turn now, so we'll switch away from that. So it's about a heading of 013. So we're pushing for 020. It won't be too far off the course, but enough to get that distance in. Going to reduce our descent rates down to 2,000 feet per minute. And our speed, we will not adjust yet. So we'll keep it as it is. As you approach 10,000, since it's still set to automatic autopilot, should adjust it without any need for input from us. Apart from, of course, spoilers, just bring it down below 250. In fact, it's passing through 14,000 now. Let's drop down even further to about 1,800 feet per minute descent. Some hills and mountains become visible down below. Nothing to cause any worry for us. We can activate the... Or can we activate terrain? Was that the INOP? Maybe not. Okay, so no terrain. We'll definitely activate the weather radar since the visibility is not going to be great for this trip. Predictive wind shear is active, so if we start to hit that, we can always consider going around. Let's get an updated weather sheet. Mainly, I'll know what winds are. And are they stable or are they gusting? So send a weather request. And let's print it off. Received, new, print, back to flight plan. So winds are still 13 knots, still 230. Visibility is set to +10, scatter clouds at 2,000. So the clouds have improved slightly, have they? From 700 up to 2,000. We should get some more visibility to the ground then on the approach. It's always good to see. Spoilers out. So reduce speed down to 250 knots. And descent rates down to 1,500 again, just to allow us to stabilise that descent slightly. Keep the aircraft within its limits. Landing systems on. The ADF has not connected to Edinburgh, so I'll just turn it off anyway. It's definitely not a VRR point. Don't have frequency for that. Yeah, we're definitely quite a bumpy approach today. It'll be a fun one to keep this aircraft stable. Hopefully not going to need to fight it. If we need to fight it, we'll fight it. And again, the A320 should be more than steady for us. Might as well activate the approach phase now, just to get the aircraft even slower. Also, allow something about flaps as well. Drop down to about 1,200 feet per descent rates. It's only now already crossing 250 knots. Load of spoilers. Thanks, raise them again. We're steady at 240. We're not gaining speed, but not losing any. At least below 220, we'll be able to use the flaps to support us. Passenger space arriving in about a minute. We're definitely a tad bit behind today. Definitely a tad bit behind. Cool, so we're now at a level safe to load the flaps without overspeeding the aircraft. We're across 6,000 feet. Now, load of spoilers, flaps down 1. Just turn the rate down to 1,000 feet per minute, just to keep the aircraft slowing. Aircraft altimeter set 996. Also, have some landing lights on. Whoops. Right, now we're slowing to 20 knots. To 10. Passing through 4,500 feet. We'll continue just heading for a little bit longer. We're about 40 miles from the airport, just to our 7 o'clock. I should pop open the charts of Edinburgh on my own monitor. Make a left-hand turn now. That tells onto a heading of 30. Nope, we'll go 320. Aircraft levels at 3,000. And so we'll be able to establish as soon as we cross the intercepts. We'll arm the spoilers, set the brakes to medium. Assuming it needs about 20 miles. We'll make the turn down to 30 at this point, since the the wind speed, airspeed, we are crabbing a tad bit off the path. You can see we're facing towards where the yellow marker is. In reality, our direction is about 10 degrees to the right hand side. So yeah, we're doing a 300 heading. We're doing about 307 in actual direction. Say 28 knot winds heading 254. This is going to be a fun one. So ground spoiler's armed, seatbelt's active, nose making active. Fuel tanks are cross feeding, that's fine. In fact, even from this angle, you can just about see how much you're crabbing compared to the direction we're facing. Gary's activated localizer. Any second now, just again watching the horizontal diamond as we hit the path for the runway. We are below the glide slope, that's fine. We're flying level at 3000 until we get to the glide slope, then we fly the aircraft down. As soon as we establish and localizer, flaps down to 2. Localizer active. Flaps position 2.
Flaps 2.
Let's the aircraft will now keep itself steady on the approach path. The descent from the glide slope, if we go back to the Edinburgh charts. That will come. Yeah, because I think I plugged in the approach path for the runway 25 ILS and never actually added the waypoints out. It's 5 miles. 24 degrees, that's fine. Yeah, it's 5 miles out. Yeah, we'll just take it from there. Right. As soon as we're on establishing the glide slope, we'll lower the flaps, announce our landing intentions, do our pre-landing checks, and bring the aircraft into land. About 15 miles to go. Less than that, sorry, about 12 miles to go. Here we go. Horizontal's descending. Runways in sights. Just below the cloud layout, that's always good to see. Any second now. Approach phase active. Six miles, load landing gear, and the flaps. Come on, Edinburgh. Don't fail me today. See landing lights. That's about it at the moment. Landing gear down.
Lowering gear.
Flaps full.
Flaps extended.
Set altitude 4,000.
4,000 feet.
Please prepare.
Cabin crew, seats for landing please. Seats for landing. Right. Pre-land checks. Gear down, 3 greens. Brakes set. Spoilers armed. Cabin secure. We have landing clearance due to the outside intentions on Unicom. There's no tower to tune into, so as far as I'm concerned, that's our pre-land checks complete. Plenty of visibility, so there's no need for us to use the auto land today. The aircraft should fly quite nicely. It's a headwind, 29 knots, not gusting, but it's headwinds 240, 241. Okay, yeah, strong headwind, but it's in the perfect direction for us. Right, let's get ready for this. 1,000. Stable approach. Autopilot off. I'm in control. Here we go. Aircraft set landing mode.
100 above. 300.
Woo! Bit of a jump there.
200. Minimum.
Minimums continue.
100. 50. 40. 30. 20. Retard.
Idle throttle.
5.
Reverses armed. 100 knots. 80 knots. Reverses idle. Load spoilers. Let's cut these brakes. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Edinburgh. The time right now is approximately 28 minutes past 10.
The local time is 10:28.
There we go, let the flight attendant do it for us. She's the expert.
You can now use your mobile devices. Please remain seated until the aircraft is...
That's fine, turn off point there.
Remember to use caution when opening the overhead bins as items may have shifted during the flight. If this is your final destination, we thank you for flying with us. If you're making a connection, we encourage you to check your itinerary to ensure a smooth continuation of your journey. We apologize for the delay. Please coordinate with airline staff as necessary regarding connecting flights or vouchers.
Alright, there we have it. We'll announce that we are clear of the runway. We will kill the transponder. Turn off landing lights. Taxi lights set. And APU starts. Flaps up. Yeah, not a bad flight overall. Not a bad flight. Okay, satisfaction's not the highest because we are behind schedule by... Actually, what's our estimated landing time? Touchdown at 28. In real life, we are expecting to land at 45 as per the on-time landing. So, like I said, I'm sure there is something kind of imbalanced in regards to both time on ground and time in the air. Something I need to kind of learn with sim briefing time. Because yeah, okay, I put in like 30 minutes at least on the half hour whenever I actually plan to depart. There's always some small detail with timing that I can get better with. So mission light speed is below 17-18 knots. Make the right hand turn. And really, it's standard choice, anything that's in front of us. Ground crew visible, we'll be using that. Turn off the taxi lights, so I'm going to blind anyone. Make sure that the landing systems and flight directors are off. The weather radar never works for us either, I just switched off. We want to stand 6 as we're pulling into now. Correction, stand 5 is that? Sorry, 10. God, maybe I should refer to my ground charts. Alright, stands 10. Stand 10A. Gosh, I'm losing my ability to talk now. So close yet so far. Stands 10 Alpha. There we go, right hand turn. That ground crew member just there moving out the way for us. And hold position. Nope, I think that was like a tiny bit more forward. That'll do. Parking brake active. AP bleed set. Engines off. Seatbelt sign off. I just turned it back on again. What was that? 57 minutes flight time. There we go. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Edinburgh. The local time right now is 33 minutes past 10. Temperature outside right now it's 17 degrees centigrade. Slightly rainy, but for the most part should be dry enough to get into the terminal and on your way very shortly. We thank you for flying British Airways. We hope you enjoyed your flight with us today, and we hope to see you again in the very near future. Cabin crew, disarm doors and cross-check please. So, as that message goes to the passengers, we'll allow the jet bridge to connect to the aircrafts. Make sure that the interaction goes to passengers. And that the beacon light switched off. Ground power is available. Turn off the APU. People slowly be sparking from the aircrafts. Okay, fair enough. So minus 30 minutes on the expected arrival, but in terms of the actual expected arrival, we're about 12 minutes ahead of schedule. So I'll learn the PACX timings, find a balance, and see what's missing from where. Looking for the cabin. That should be emptying out, and that's not a problem. So what we're going to do is we're going to finish on Volanta, that's fine. We'll keep flying PACX as well. So menu, whoops, end of flights, and let's have a report. So BA 1438, A320 Neo from Heathrow to Edinburgh, 57-minute flight time. Planned departure was 18:53. We arrived at departed 19:04. Well, okay, that's the low time I'm recording right now. So 9:10 p.m. So landed at 8 p.m. Bit late, but for the most part, not too bad. 174 passengers. Overall neutral opinion of the flight. Landing rate of 183, which is pretty good for the slightly shaky arrival in. And there was definitely a bit of a jump there with the altitude on the short final. Nothing major, but again a bit of a bounce there just needs to maintain. Blood time on hour 14, and overall, apart from some slight delays, a pretty decent flight. So, that brings us to the end of our first premiere of the day, and our flights from here in London Heathrow, also from there in London Heathrow now, to here in Edinburgh. So I've got a couple of hours now. I'm going to take the tram and train into the city, spend the day just walking around, looking about and enjoy myself, and then 7 p.m. tonight, back to Edinburgh Airport, where I'll then fly to Stansted and make my way home from an airport for potentially and likely the final time this year. So, hope you enjoyed the premiere. If you did, please leave a like, do subscribe if you haven't already. Thank you very much for tuning in. There goes the APU, connects to ground power. And yeah, I'll see you again shortly for some more flight sim action. Take care of yourselves, guys. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you soon. Bye bye.